I've always been so intimidated by big designers. Even the people on my panel, I was like, this is so intimidating. They're such mega superstars, they're rock stars, and I'm here. Why am I here? And you have to fight that imposter syndrome, constantly fighting that imposter syndrome, like I shouldn't be in the space, I shouldn't be there. But I wanted everyone to feel that they feel connected and they feel like it's not bigger than them what we do. Because we're not saving lives. We're creating beautiful spaces, and that should be fun. So we should be fun.
Welcome to Behind the Design, a podcast where we unfold the details behind the designs we know and love and explore how each project comes to life. I am Camilla Ingall, owner of Unfolded, an interior design and styling studio. In this podcast series, we dive into the details with our industry experts, covering topics such as the creative process, latest design trends, and how we, as an industry, work together to meet the brief and overcome challenges. Let the conversation begin. Welcome back to Behind the Design, the podcast where we go beyond the finished product to explore the people, processes, and personal stories behind the spaces we experience every day. I'm your host, Camilla Ingall, interior designer and founder of Unfolded, and today I'm joined by Nasim Ko, designer director at Merivale. Merivale is one of Australia's most recognisable hospitality groups, known for creating immersive venues that feel layered, intentional, and full of life. Nassim has played a key role in shaping those environments, bringing together global experience, cultural sensitivity, and a deeply human approach to leadership and design. Merivale is such a powerful brand, and we're so used to experiencing the final result: the venues, the atmosphere, the polish. What we don't often get to see is what happens behind the scenes, the people, the processes, and the conversations that shape those spaces. That's what I'm really looking forward to exploring today, going behind the design with Nassim and understanding how these environments are brought to life from the inside out. Well, Nassim, welcome to Behind the Design.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I'd love to start with your journey. You spent over a decade working in London before coming back to Sydney in terms of your professional career. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel super lucky. I had worked in Sydney for a couple of years, and I decided I was quite hungry for more. So I moved over to London to get that European experience, that global experience. And I just, had such a phenomenal time there. I feel like London is the kind of place, like London specifically, but like just moving overseas, just felt like it opened me up to so many more opportunities. I got to work with incredible designers and architects over there. It just fully expanded my horizon. So I'd fully recommend it to everyone.
And like culturally too, right? So different to here.
Yeah, very different. Like it's just so funny working with the English, but I've got to say, they love Aussies over there. Absolutely love working with Australians. I didn't realize, but Australians have really hardcore work ethic. And I only realized when I was there, I was like, oh, I'm the last out of the office and like all of that. We just have a really great work ethic, which is incredible.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Because I know, we joke about Italians having their siesta and, things like that being way more like go with the flow. But yeah, you're right. I have heard of it before, but I wasn't aware of, so you felt like you were.
Totally. And when it came to like hiring people, I was like, oh, they're Australian, they're in, just because the work ethic and like also the design caliber that comes out of Australia is incredible. Like being in Europe, fantastic opportunities for a designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you were then brought back by Merivale. Justin poached you.
Yeah, we had a lovely conversation and a lot of just felt very symbiotic or something.
Aligned.
Yeah, very aligned. And who wouldn't want to work with Justin Henderson Merivale? It was a dream come true. I'd always looked up to what they did as a designer. So whilst I was studying, we'd go visit the spaces, we'd visit the Ivy and be like, oh my God, this is incredible.
The Ivy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Takes me
Everyone knows. Yeah. Everyone's had a night at the Ivy. So I was completely inspired by everything they did. So then having the honour to come back and work with them was just a dream come true. So I jumped at the opportunity and moved back.
And so from then, it's been 2 years?
3.
3 years
Coming into
now.
3.
So coming into 3 years. And how's that experience been for you?
Just so good. And so much has happened in each year that I've been here. Like first year, really figuring out my place in a business that already flies. Then second year, figuring that out and then developing a design team. And then third year, we've produced some incredible work in-house and we work with amazing external architects and designers. It's like the absolute dream job. But yeah, it's been really fulfilling developing my own design team in-house and designing some spaces like the Press in Sydney, LB's in Melbourne, and we're working on this amazing
Yes.
hotel
Naruma.
in Narooma. Yeah, I've told
Yes.
you all about it. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, and working alongside Australia's best architects and designers with Club Rose Bay and, you know, Jimmy's and Toddy's. And yeah, I feel really blessed. It's the dream job in every way.
And so were you managing a team in London? Like, was that role for you quite similar, like quite parallel to what you're doing now? Or was that all quite new to bring all these people in and produce these venues?
Incredibly, I always felt like, and I wonder if other designers feel the same, but every job I've had has helped the job that I'm going to go into. So just before I moved to Australia, I worked for a company called TOG, the Office Group. So they're an incredible developer over in London and they do amazing hospitality and workspace. I think they've now changed to Fora as the name, but so I managed quite a big team there. So I was familiar with it and I was familiar with working developer side and working in-house. That helped me do this job even better. And prior to that, I had my own business for a few years as well. And that helped me do that job. It just always built on top of each other in a really coherent, lovely way. Like, yeah. And then prior to that, I had hospitality experience with an architect that I worked at. So it's all built to where I am
prepared
now.
you for the next phase.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
really cool.
Yeah.
Does
And
that
I'm
feel
sure
quite
others-
aligned?
Yeah. Amazing. And I think you've probably had a similar experience, you know, like everything you've done has led you to this, you know, you're a designer and you've got that like colorful other background of all the other things you've worked on and it's led you to this. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And I think, there's a lot to say about that. And I think that's when you can look back and think, I'm glad I spent the time I spent. Maybe when at the time I felt like it was too long, I was ready for the next thing. Maybe you weren't just yet, but now you are, and you're now developing this because you were ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully believe that. Everything happens the way it's supposed to, even though at the time it can be quite difficult. And
Yes.
everybody knows that.
Absolutely. That's what we're here to talk about.
The hard times, the fun times.
So was there a moment where you knew hospitality and large-scale environments were where you wanted to focus?
Yeah, because as a designer, I've worked on so many different things: commercial, hospitality, residential, everything. My favorite is working in the hospitality and hotel space. I love creating experiences for people. But I do feel, again, like even my commercial workplace experience helped me get to this, surprisingly. So, yeah.
Because there's a lot of parallels with all of that. Materials, specification, suppliers.
And also, like, I think ultimately it comes down to creating experiences for people. How you do that in a workspace or how you do that for home, like what kind of experience are you creating for them? That hospitality, oh my God, love it. And then hotels, oof, even more. It's just creating a full escape for somebody. I'm a bit obsessed with like creating escapism. So this is, yeah. Again, I keep talking about dream job. Of course, the job has difficulties, but I do love that I get to create that alongside an incredible team and for people. Like, so much fun.
And so if you were to talk us through your role as the design director at Merivale, you're managing a team, but when I'm hearing you speak, there's a lot of creativity to your role. How do you dabble between the two, or does it all just sort of, is there respect for your role being the design director, or are you more a manager?
Oh, that's such a good question, and I ask myself that question daily because it's the combination. I've got to push myself and challenge myself to be that person that is coming up with interesting, cool ideas, doing the research, doing all of that, all the while managing and making sure my team feel empowered, happy, that they're progressing, growing. So I think that's the balance. But I could not do it without such a capable team. If you have a capable team, you can trust that things get done in the way that you want to. Essentially, they're mind reading you. They're learning how you want things done and what you need to see and what you don't need to see. So it's a balance that I think we're now in the group, year 3. I feel like we're set in a good way. But it's so challenging. Yeah, like I think a lot of people that even own their own businesses would resonate with that. want to be the full creative all the time, but you can't be because you're just bogged down in admin and other things. I mean, you would attest to that too, I'm sure.
Yeah, all the roles, all the hats, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Balance.
big time. But yeah, I dabble in a bit of everything, and probably dabble in places where they're like, can you please stay out of that? I'm like, can I just see?
Not
Can
dabble?
I just look at that? And they're like, oh my God, she's back.
She's back. Is she not in on Wednesdays? Okay.
I think it's just like, I'm curious. I'm a curious person, and I want to, if we're creating experience like a hotel, you want to make sure that all the aspects are feeding into the whole experience. So that's why branding is mega important. Marketing strategy is important. It's all important. And it's not to say like I personally want to control anything, but it's like it all feeds into the design. The experience. So we have to be involved in all aspects. We have to communicate. We have to collaborate, which I think I've got to say that we're quite good at Merivale. Like we really pride ourselves on collaboration. Like it's not me that comes up with all the concepts. You know, we sit in a room and we all go through it. We all figure it out together. Justin has a huge role. Bettina has a huge role. Our architects and designers, everybody, down to the junior designers, they have a role in setting the tone and creating the concept too. So I love that. I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like an egotistical design is not how I like to work. Like we want everyone's opinion. We want everyone to feel like,
team players.
yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that, because this is a perfect example of, Merivale can have that very highlight reel sense to it, right? You do see the pretty photos of the venue complete in Broadsheet, in the local project, and wherever else you might find it. But it's like, who is the team? What conversations are they having? What creativity is coming up in that meeting? Is there an idea that you were going to go down one direction and it flipped because on Tuesday morning you dreamt about something different? It's like all these conversations that we're not having. And that's what I love to learn about, because I think that's those pivotal moments in the design process that could be from a junior.
Yeah, 1,000%. I had one the other day that was like the suggestion. We were just going back and forth on a bathroom. How can we make it wilder, cooler, more of an experience? And we like inversed a disco ball to create a bathroom. And then, and someone else on the team was like, let's do karaoke in the toilet. And like, we're just like coming up with all this like crazy, cool, interesting stuff. So it's really everyone's contribution, which makes it even better. Like if one person is designing a bathroom, it's going to look a certain way. But if we're all able to like collaborate and come up with something without
Have
ego,
your input.
Yeah. And I think it is the younger people who have the better suggestions and ideas. They're the ones going out. They're the ones seeing things, doing things. So
and they're quite explorative, and they're learning at uni, and then they're chatting with their friends, and then they've got a birthday at that bar.
yeah, exactly.
They're quite busy in the
Yes.
scene.
Yeah. I'm a grandma these
I
days.
know, that's how I feel. And so if we think about Merivale as a whole, there's so many facets, right? It's constantly evolving. And I feel like when you think of the brand and Justin and everything that the observer and the average person has learnt about the brand, it's a constant like reimagination of existing venues, because a lot of them are, they've been taken from an existing building and refurbished. Would that be fair to say?
I do love that about us. Like we don't generally do the whole, like this is generally speaking, it's not always the case, but we don't do the whole knockdown rebuild. Like we really love inheriting an old building.
Like Club Rose Bay.
Exactly. And like how we can use the old bones. Some things you got to get rid of, like if the windows...
They're not standing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. If they weren't part of the older building, let's relook at them. But like in Club Rose Bay, we uncovered a beautiful parquetry floor that was covered with a carpet. And so we polished it up and we used it. And I know a lot of people wouldn't do that. They don't want to see the patina and the scratches and all of that. They're like, oh, it doesn't look new.
But for hospitality, like, why not?
We love lived-in spaces. We love spaces that feel lived in, that they look like they've been enjoyed. So, yeah, like we love a good patina on something.
That's it. And it doesn't feel so cold. It's more inviting when you've got something that feels lived in.
Yeah, I often wonder if I'm able to do shiny new designs anymore. I'm like, how do you do that? Everything looks distressed.
Yeah, that's
but yeah, that's the challenge of a designer, like to move from one thing to another.
Absolutely. And so when you and I caught up for coffee, we were chatting about some of your experiences in London with teams and clients and projects. And one thing I learned about you is you're quite passionate about the diversity and representation within the industry. Um, would you be comfortable sharing how your background has informed the way that you lead and design?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so topical with what's going on in the world at the moment. So my parents, they came as migrants from Iran after the Iranian Revolution. They fled the country and they moved to Australia. And it's beautiful because this country opened them with they like welcomed them with open arms. And me and my sisters were able to get a fantastic education here. And I'm here sitting with you today talking about that. Achieved so much in my career, and we're a migrant family. So I think it's really important to tell that story. Like, this is what a migrant looks like. Like, it's the people you interact with every day. And there's so much angst and sentiment at the moment around that negative sentiment. So yeah, I'd love to talk about that. I love telling people that because I'm like, guys, it's important. It adds richness and diversity in design if we come from different backgrounds.
Absolutely. And as Australians and living in Australia, it's so multicultural here. So I think that a lot of who we are and what has been created, particularly in places like Sydney and Melbourne, the bigger cities, has had so much cultural impact and input, and probably wouldn't be what it is without that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I do agree with you. And how does that then trickle into, say, a venue with Merivale? Do you find yourself noticing that that's coming up as you're designing?
It's probably like comes in the form of super subtle design decisions where you want to create spaces that naturally, I want to create spaces that are inclusive, that everyone feels welcome and invited. And that's probably where it comes up, like how we can make this space feel like it's for everybody, that everybody can walk in. And I'm lucky because, yeah, Mariel is a lot about that, like how we can create spaces for everybody. And yeah, so it's in those subtle decision making, like, can we make the door wider? Can we like invite more people in? Can we make Club Brisbane dog friendly? Like, just like,
And did you?
yeah, we do.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, me too, because I got a dog.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, I just think that's a perfect example of like inclusivity, and even just also kind of expanding the demographic of people attending these venues and how the design can impact the demographic, right?
Absolutely. Like, I love going into our venues and seeing really young teenagers enjoying the space, and then the elderly there as well. Like, it's the coolest thing
Yeah,
to look around and be
absolutely.
like, look at how the different demographics are using the space. It's just so interesting and it makes it way more fun.
This episode of Behind the Design is brought to you by my interior design studio, Unfolded. We create interiors that are functional, thoughtful, and deeply personal, spaces that reflect the people who use them every day. You can explore our work at unfolded.com.au. So one example you shared with me, and it really stuck, was designing bathrooms, and it was a project that you referenced, and you made sure to specify and install adjustable shower heads to better support women with a wide range of hair types and care routines. So for me, that's a high level of consideration. And so for you in that moment, how important is listening to that design process and really, capturing those moments and going through that and going, you know what, that's important. We're going to make sure we do that.
Yeah. Well, luckily I had someone on my team with like a beautiful afro, and she was quite a junior member of the team at the time, and she brought it to my attention. Otherwise, if you don't have the diversity of voices in the room, you're not hearing anything like that. And she just said, hey, look, when I walk into a hotel or a bathroom and I see a fixed head shower, I just like cringe a little bit because I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to like manage under the shower head. And I was like, it's so true. And I do the same. I don't yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk hair care routines. We can if you want. But I also would
Optional.
I also appreciate an adjustable shower head. So yeah, it was a lovely moment where listening to someone of a different culture really benefited the design process.
And that really circles back to what you're saying about how people experience the space, because that's a talking point, for people who have gone to that place or that hotel or wherever it might be. They can come out of that and go, and this place had.
Yeah.
And it's such a small moment. but that could be so significant for 2 or 3 different people.
Yes. Even goes down to like the texture of the carpet and the like, okay, how is someone who's older or less able to walk on this? And like, it's all those little decisions that make the space. Often you don't know why when you go to the space, why you love it, but you're like, oh, because all the touch points are considered. I think that's really important, especially with the experiences we're trying to create.
And then making it look good.
Yes,
On top of
exactly.
that,
Yeah.
there's a couple of layers.
Making disabled toilets look good. It's like very much what I'm thinking
Have to
about.
have the signage. I wanted to go through a little bit with you around authenticity in design, authenticity as designers. And I went to the Design by Them event where you spoke. That was when I first had a glimpse of Nassim. And the topic of the night was I'll be happy when. And I'll never forget it because for me, I was sitting there with one of my fellow interior designers and you were up first. And as soon as they said, oh, design director at Merivale, and I thought, oh, who's this? And you came up and just the way you spoke when you were talking about your own experience, perfectionism, how to not care so much about the small shit, excuse the French. And I remember just thinking, she's real. She is the real deal. And I thought, you know what? Who better to be working for somewhere like Merivale than someone like you? And I just wanted to share that because there's so many events that we all go to, right? And everyone speaks and it's inspiring and it's wonderful and it's beautiful. But it's so nice when you get to hear such an authentic expression from someone in such a big role where you can just resonate and feel that you're on their level, not pedestal or anything like that or intimidated. So yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about, how you show up.
That is incredibly kind. I don't think anyone said anything that kind to me. It's just like, it's what better thing to hear than that. I think with that particular evening, which was such a good evening, it was so much fun. I feel like I laughed a lot. I just thought about being in the audience and I was like, it's so much about how you make them feel. You know, that saying that's like, people won't remember what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. And in a space like that, I've always been so intimidated by big designers and even the people on my panel. I was like, this is so intimidating. They're such mega superstars. They're rock stars, and I'm here.
The big
Why am I
names,
here?
as they say.
Yeah, and you have to fight that imposter syndrome. Constantly fighting that imposter syndrome. Like I shouldn't be in the space. I shouldn't be there. But I wanted everyone to feel that, exactly what you said, like that they feel connected and they feel like it's not bigger than them what we do, because we're not saving lives. We're creating beautiful spaces and that should be fun. So we should be fun. Yeah, something
and
small.
we're creative.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Why are we taking ourselves so seriously?
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's have a bit of
right.
fun.
Well, thank you for sharing that because I think it's so important to really share with the listeners what goes on, as we say, behind the design, both professionally and personally. And Merivale particularly, and a lot of beautiful industry presence can be deemed and seen as the highlight reel. And I just think it's so important to be hearing from people like yourselves about more the day-to-days and how it really goes down and what can come up.
I fully agree. And I also feel so honored to be in that position, especially as, like we said, a migrant. Like I would love, actually, there was a few people in the audience, like from an Iranian background that came up and spoke to me afterwards and were just like so excited because it's not often you see someone from that background speaking in large groups. There's a certain demographic that's always in the limelight. So yeah, I feel like it's important for representation as well, to see people that look like you and that represent where you come from or just a different way of thinking.
Yeah. And have built themselves up in their career and
Yes.
doing good things.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And so if we go back now to hospitality projects, Merivale, tight timelines, pressures, how do you go in that? Are you like a type A, as they say? Do you just love all the tabs or how's that process for you and your team?
Yeah, again, like first and foremost, if I didn't have this team that held me up, I would crumble. Like they are exceptional. So that's makes my job and my life easier to have such strong, capable people around me. So that's number one. I think I do keep a cool head, to be honest with you, because I do try not to take what we're doing too seriously. Like, it's important and it's amazing and we have to get it right, but it's not saving lives. That being said, I am a bit of a stickler for getting it right. So, and my team know that, and they are the same. So they want the best outcome as well. So between us, we're making sure that every detail is thought about. And it's nothing gives me more joy when my team find mistakes or problems and they're like, this isn't right, we need to fix it. And it's something I don't really care about, but I'm like,
Yes, we do.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Right now,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So honestly, yeah, this year especially, maybe it's because it's a new year, we've all had a break. I'm like, we can do it. But talk to me when I've got an opening and I'm like, whoa. But yeah, it's so much about having capable people around you. And especially, like, I always say that I want my team members to be better than me in everything they do. And I really feel that I have that in this particular team. They are so much better than me in all the little things that they're good at. So that's what you need around you. Like, rather, I think finding people that even better you as a designer is how you should be shaping your teams.
And I think it's a good way to speak as a leader, because I think sort of being a humble leader can sometimes be a better way to do things. Like what I'm hearing, your team sort of proofreads things for you. We all need that. How do you finish everything, like these massive projects, without someone having proofread it?
I always say, like, with the team, like, hey guys, here's my sketch of a bedhead, for example. This is what I'm thinking it should look like. And they'll take it and they will always say, like, here's when we modeled what you said. Here's when we just tested our own thing and we thought we could tweak this and move this. And it is always so much better than I could have ever thought. When they just have an ability to make it, to really think and tweak. And that's what I value in team members, like just that critical thinking and how can we make it better? How can we push it? How can we push it? And we always talk about that in the team, like creating the best experiences in the world and like really pushing innovation, design, all of those aspects. So
And
yeah,
it sounds like you're motivating them to give the input too. Like they're not sounding like they're shying away from anything, which is
Yeah.
what you want, right? You
absolutely.
don't want to know in hindsight, we
Yes.
could have made that better, but
Yeah.
that junior or whatnot didn't
Yeah.
speak up.
Yes,
You
exactly.
want them to speak up.
And it's so much about empowering them to push. Come on, guys, like push it harder. I know you've said this, but like let's try this material. Let's try this. Let's make it
Let's
different.
keep exploring.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
exactly.
Have your definitions of success or ambition shifted over time?
Like I shared with you in that talk, like when I thought that once I'm published in AD, I've made it. Like I've done, that's it. It's a pinnacle of success. I can retire.
It's all I need.
Yeah. And that's what I really thought was success. And I was achieving those things. I was achieving the notoriety or the being published and ticking those boxes and achieving those goals and realizing I was so unhappy.
What caused the unhappiness?
Well, I just think like so unhappy is a bit extreme, but I just, the happiness didn't last is what I mean. Like it was fleeting. I got excited and then the next day it was gone and it was like, oh, well, yeah, you're published. What? Yeah, moving on. There's the next project that's been published. Yeah, like it doesn't actually mean anything. But I think in a very cheesy way, it's like so much the journey that is the important thing. It's the learnings. It's when your team feel happy and empowered, when you feel like you've collaborated and contributed in the right ways and pushed and pulled. The design outcome is the best, and you got there. So it's no longer the shiny photos, but it's seeing someone in your space, experience your space and love it. Seeing someone old and young in the space and loving it at the same time, you know? Those are the moments that for me feel like success now. But yeah, of course, like getting those design accolades, I'm all for that. But it doesn't make
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, guys. Give me an award.
I still love you, AD.
Yeah, I still really love you, AD. Those things are incredible, but they're not everything. And yeah, I'm sure
But you had
all
to get there to
designers are.
learn that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
kind of comes back full circle, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And so what advice would you offer to designers aspiring to work in large-scale hospitality or commercial environments?
Firstly, like for young like grads, I would say whilst you're at uni, whilst you're learning, start to design straight away. Like, make sure your portfolio has some built work in, whether you're designing a kitchen for your uncle or a bathroom for your grandma, like just make sure, and or a friend of a friend, you're doing some work for free.
Small or large.
Yeah, like just work, because I think you learn so much from the smallest things you design. So that is what I'd say for a super junior person, and for someone who wanting to work in hospitality design who's got the experience. I I remember feeling like I couldn't jump into hospitality when I was in more
Because they were
commercial
so
design.
different
Yeah,
in
and I
your,
remember people telling me like,
because you were doing workspace
yeah,
compared to like a
exactly.
hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah, I genuinely remember people telling me you can't move across. Like once you develop a niche, like that's it. But I actually think my workplace experience helped me. Yeah,
I'll show
challenge
you.
accepted. Yeah, so I think it helped me get to design, be an even better hospitality designer, because I have different experience. We actually don't look for someone with specifically hospitality experience when we're hiring. Like I want to work with people that are interested in sculpture and different things, like who,
Broader.
yeah, like someone who sews and someone like just different ideas. We're seeking that diversity of thought. So I wouldn't be afraid.
Upholstery and
Yeah, like anything you're interested in. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to make the jump into hospitality, because I think any experience is relevant. But just make sure you get some experience
yeah, absolutely.
and push the design. Push the design. Yeah.
What do you mean by push the design?
Well, just when you are working, make sure if you're up and coming that, yeah, if your directors and seniors are telling you, hey, look, this is your project, go do that exact task I've given you. You go ahead and do that task, but then you also show them how you've added your flair. Like add your flair to that task. Hey, you told me to do this basic document on tables. I am going to show you the best document on tables. Like here's what you asked me to do. Here's another take on it where I've built a table. Like just really push where you can.
Yeah, particularly, yeah, when it really means a lot. You know, some people really aspire to work with certain designers or in architecture firms and things. So that would be a perfect moment to just add that little extra bit to your extra couple of pages to your portfolio.
Exactly.
And so finally, what excites you most about what's next, personally and professionally?
Personally, so funny. I'm like, I don't think about myself at
The,
all.
the home, because
No.
you've just sold, haven't you?
Yes, yes, yeah. So, yeah, we sold a beautiful place in the Northern Beaches that we had. We thought it was the dream. It really was the dream house. It was my dream ultimate house. But we had to sell because it was too far from work. So the commute was just unbearable. So I'm looking forward to finding another home that we can work up and renovate. But right now I'm really happy where we are, and I kind of like renting. It's so nice, and we live in a really beautiful house. So yeah, just happy with that at the moment. Just happy to go for walks with my dog and husband. That's pretty much personally what I'm interested in. And professionally, I'm super interested in what I'm luckily able to do is get involved, like I said, in other aspects of the guest experience, whether that is like branding, whether that is the music that you're listening to, whether that is,
You mean guests of venues?
yes,
Yeah,
like the
okay.
whole experience. So I'm very lucky, as well as the design and the styling that I look after, I'm able to have input / get involved in, listen to those other conversations. And I think that's probably my next steps as a creative, is moving into like all aspects of experience.
Yeah. So kind of expanding your scope almost to be broader
Yeah.
and
Well,
cover.
especially
They're more details too, really, aren't they?
Yeah. Like from the moment someone wants to go to the hotel, for example, what is the experience like on their phone? What's the experience like when they go to book? Like they book, they've seen the right images, they're feeling the design already come through in the website. Then they've booked. What's their experience to the hotel? That's the
It's like
stuff
they've
that
already
I'm.
started their experience while
Yes.
they're booking.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's super fascinating down to the end. When they're leaving, what's the scent in their car when they're driving away? Like, what are they taking from the hotel? So I find all of that really fascinating. Yeah, what's on the TV when you walk in the room? Like, yeah, it just
And you know what I love about this? We had Daniel Bodum, architect.
love him.
Amazing.
He's so
Yes.
good.
He brought it up in the episode around sensorial design. And when he started explaining it, I think he said he worked on is it a restaurant or a home? And they chose certain tiles. It was like slate tiles or something where you could hear the horse walking on the tiles, and that's the memory they wanted to have when they installed these tiles. And I was just like, the thought that goes into this was just so cool. And he's so creative the way he goes, but it reminds me of that because it's all an experience, and it can create nostalgia and all sorts of things within your body energetically as well. So
Totally.
it's not just who you talk to about where you went on the weekend. It's what you feel when you're there, when you leave, like you say.
And yeah, as a creative, you want to kind of get involved in all of that.
Yeah. It's the whole
Yeah,
process.
absolutely. And I think everyone feels it when you go to a hotel. You're like, oh, that wasn't right. That I want the bed made like this, and everyone has a thought and opinion, and it's just so
Too many
fascinating.
cushions. Never.
Yeah, exactly.
Never too many cushions. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask about Club Rose Bay because obviously it's a bit of a hot topic. And obviously Naruma's next, the Whale Hotel. But Club Rose Bay, how did that come about? Was that something that Justin sort of found and had a chat and then it was all systems go? Or has it been something they were going to renovate for quite a while or refurbish, I should say?
I actually don't know exactly how that relationship started, but I can say it's been super fascinating and interesting working with the club for us specifically. So we, on that project, Akin Atelier did the design and architecture, and we worked on the styling. So we were fortunate enough to work with a lot of the like the veterans and the people that run the club on what we're showcasing, what stories we're telling, what are we trying to say. And so for me, it was such a cool experience. I'd never designed a RSL club before. I had no idea.
That had been there from
Yeah.
when? How old is it?
I have no idea. Well, actually, the space, I think the site was the first airport in Australia, international airport in Australia. And then it used to be an old hangar, is my understanding. And then it eventually, after the war, it turned into an RSL. I'm not sure dates or anything like that, but it has a fascinating history. And so we wanted to tell all those stories. We want to have the right pictures on the wall. So working alongside the club was such a cool experience. Like I learnt so much, especially being a migrant, being like, what is this? Where is this from? What is this old thing? And they had like incredible memorabilia to work with. So styling was so much fun and so easy because there was so much already there. It was rich, like cupboards full.
Repurposing it all.
Oh my God.
Almost.
Uniforms, the cool uniforms and everything. It's just so good. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I meant to ask you because I thought it's definitely everyone's sort of talking about Club Rose Bay. There was a funny thing on his Instagram or Facebook or something, like a community page, and it said on Australia Day, everyone was either at Club Rose Bay or at the beach. It was 50%. I was like, that's so funny. Then it showed photos of Club Rose Bay and like people couldn't move.
Yeah. It gets packed.
Everyone's loving the idea.
Yeah, but honestly, like I've been during the day and it's a lot more chilled than some of those photos. I look at those photos, I'm like, oh God, like it's not always like that. We were there as a team the other day. We had a team day there, and we played pickleball, which I'd never done before. It was so much fun, and had a lovely meal at Noddy's. So yeah, it's the dream.
Okay, so we finished with 3 questions in under 3 minutes. I haven't prepped you for any of these, by the way.
Let's see how good I am.
Yeah. All right. So, question number 1. The trend you're quietly praying dies this year.
I only know one at the moment that like I've seen on Instagram, but I love it. This guy was like, arches have to go. And I'm like, I love an arch. Okay, not that. Because I love an arch. I love a rendered wall. It's like I love everything. Yes. Oh, it's a bit sad, but boucle.
Oh,
You've got to go boucle.
I don't like
It's
boucle.
time. It's time.
Yes.
Look, it's beautiful, but maybe like it's white boucle that I have a struggle with. Like maybe let's try color.
Yeah, like a burgundy.
Yes, exactly.
Something a bit fun.
Exactly, like white boucle on everything. I mean, I see it in Aldi now. They have like boucle furniture. I'm like, okay, now we're done.
Yeah,
we're
now we
done.
need to wrap it up. Number 2, if you weren't in this industry, what would you be doing instead?
Well, I actually thought of this the other day, but I'd probably be a fashion designer.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've loved it since I was a kid. Like my whole life I was sketching outfits. Yeah. I still love clothes. Yeah.
Have an
But I think
appreciation for it.
yeah, and it's so much about a part of being a designer.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Textiles,
exactly.
fabrics.
All of that stuff. It
Yeah.
all feeds in. I'm lucky that I landed in interiors because I'm like, this is more me. But my love for design and creativity came from fashion. But I also would love to be an artist. Oh my God, just like doing art all day. would be-
Painter?
Yeah,
Okay.
incredible. Any sort of medium, just art.
Yeah.
And then I'd also just like to make coffee. Maybe I need a holiday. You know, some days are just like, I'd like to just make coffees for people and
Yeah,
not.
just be a barista for like a
Yeah,
week.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know I'd do it and I would suck at it and I would not be good at all.
And by Sunday, you'd be like, I'm done.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I'm over making
I'm
lattes.
not made for that life. But the idea of it looks very appealing.
Okay, number 3. What song would sum up your work life right now?
This is so bad. Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. Sorry,
So
I'm just
relevant.
joking. Yeah, because the lyrics are pretty dark.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I might
like,
need to re-listen.
you've got to
Because
re-listen.
it sounds like
listen
such
to
a boppy, fun.
Oh,
No?
it's absolutely not. She's like talks about how they take advantage of her in work and stuff like that. But I'm just like, it's relevant for women, but I'm not particularly my job. But like, I'm lucky that I have an incredible job. But yeah, the lyrics are dark. Yeah, they're really, really dark.
I'll have to re-listen to that one.
I think you have to whilst reading the lyrics and singing it out loud. But honestly, yeah, I'm a Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey girl. So anything
Me too.
that yeah,
I love Mariah, especially at Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I'll never get over that Christmas song. I know everybody does. I
everyone's
don't.
like, Mariah again.
Yeah.
I'm like, dream, la, la, la. I'm not going to sing.
Keep going. Keep going.
I loved your answers. Thank you.
I've loved
And
chatting with you. It's been so good.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. There's so much to take away from the conversation with Nassim, that great design starts with listening, that leadership can be calm, human, and inclusive, and that the most powerful spaces are shaped by the people behind them. For those listening, you can experience Merivale's venues across Australia and see how thoughtful design shapes the way we connect and gather. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Behind the Design, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves understanding what really happens behind great spaces. I'm Camilla Ingall, and this has been Behind the Design. Until next time.